Hello, and welcome to the fourth episode of the PintSizeAnalyze podcast. In today's episode, I am going to be discussing the Mariners' 7-6 victory in today's ball game over the Rays and their overall series win against the Rays. They won 2 out of 3 games. They lost the first game on Friday, June 30th. They lost 15-4. Yesterday's game was won by a score of 8-3. Today's game was won by a score of 7-6. And in today's episode, I'm going to be recapping the series as a whole. I'm going to be recapping and showcasing the excellent performance of Mariners backup catcher platoon primarily before, maybe no longer a platoon catcher, Tom Murphy, his excellent performance recently. And I'm also going to be highlighting a shaky start by Mariners ace Luis Castillo, La Piedra, and he was also named, in the middle of his start today, the Mariners lone all-star representative, so special congratulations to Luis Castillo. He has been the Mariners ace this year. He is fully deserving of this all-star nod, and I can't wait to see him hopefully shove for an inning at the all-star game on July 11th. Let's get started. So, in today's game, Mariners won 7-6. It was a very, very interesting game where if we go to the win probability chart on Baseball Savant, we can see that Tampa Bay got off to a very, very big lead early. They led 6-0, I believe, at one point, or 6-1 at one point. Excuse me. And in the, I'm not sure why this page is shifting or scrolling down so much. In the top third, they had a 92% chance to win. As you could see, the Mariners just kept calling back and back and back until eventually, in the bottom of the sixth, Tom Murphy ended up hitting a game-tying home run, which eventually brought it to a tie ball game, and then the Mariners came back and finally, an inning later, scored what would eventually become the game-winning run, and it was a very, very excellent victory for the Mariners today. A victory that this club needed so much. Not even from like a making the playoffs perspective, but just from for the morale of the team. I feel like today's victory was very, very vital, and so it was great to see them claw their way back, inning by inning, come back and not give up at all until eventually it was a 7-6 Mariners lead. Paul Sewald should have been an all-star, came on and slammed the door shut, and the Mariners won the series against what has been the best team in the American League this year. This was a series that this club needed so much. All right, now, moving on. I would like to next highlight, so next I'm going to be highlighting the Tom Murphy's continued offensive excellence. So as you can see, Murph had a 635 WRC plus today. He raised the season WRC plus from 126 to 146, so 20 points were raised on his season WRC plus from today's game alone. He went 2 for 2 with a single, a home run, and 2 walks. He got on base every single time he was at bat today, every plate appearance today, and he has just continued to look like really a weapon off the bench, both against left-handed pitching, but also we saw from Murphy today something that he has not done a lot of this year, and he faced a right-hander, and he did very, very well. If we go to his splits, though, we can see that Murph has had 42 ABs against righties so far, 42 against lefties, and in those ABs, he has had a 134 WRC plus against lefties, 116 against righties, so he's definitely fared slightly better against lefties, but still, been doing good, above average, well above league average against righties, although albeit a small sample size, and today that just continued. He just continued raking, and if we go to his game log right here, we click on this, and then and then we can select a date. I personally believe I'm going to select April 27th. It's kind of unsurprising that it took Murph a little bit to get going in the season, considering that he missed almost all of last season. He only played the first, 4 weeks of last year. And so it obviously makes sense that it's going to take a while for him to get, his timing and, just get his, get his approach back at the plate. But since April 27th, he has a 195 WRC plus, and that does not include today's game, which I believe could easily push it to a, 210, 220 WRC plus in that period. In that time frame since April 27th. So it feels like the Mariners have a very very quality bench bat right now who can also play catcher. It feels like they have a bench bat right now who's a lot more than a bench bat. He's also someone who can handle the pitching staff, call games correctly. Understands how the young pitching, understands how to call games with this young pitching. Obviously, a young pitching staff can be a bit challenging to call games for and to catch at times, but and having a young catcher like Cal Raleigh, who's came up in the minors with those guys, is very very important. Who came up in the minors with, Logan Gilbert and George Kirby, but seeing that you know Murph, who, despite being a more veteran player, one of the clubhouse leaders, is also able to just, slot right in with this young pitching staff and just call games and catch games really, really effectively for them, along with the offensive prowess that he's been providing, has been, just an extremely valuable piece to this club and something that I think is being underlooked. So I just wanted to give a little, spotlight to Tom Murphy because his efforts are very much being noticed by me, and I hope they're being noticed by you, the viewer. And I hope that you're able to understand, just what he's doing and how excellent he's been this year. And then in the second section of today's game, in the second section of today's episode for today's game, I would like to highlight Luis Castillo. Luis Castillo had 19 swings and misses today. That was excellent to see. He also had 6 strikeouts, 2 home runs. He went 6 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts, 8 hits, 6 runs. Only 5 of those runs were earned, 6 strikeouts. He raised the season ERA to 3.14. Like I said, he was also announced a all-star pitcher in the middle of the game, which was awesome. He didn't know, but he didn't know until after the game. But we, the fans, figured out in the middle of the game, and he had 95 pitches thrown, 70 of them were for strikes. So that was excellent. As you can see, Mariners pitchers across the board today were throwing majority strikes. Munoz, 16 pitches, 12 strikes. Brash, 24 pitches, 14 strikes, and Seawald, 11 pitches, 8 strikes. It felt like the Mariners, felt like every Mariners pitcher, aside from Castillo, felt like every Mariners pitcher from about the 4th inning on really, really came to play. Everybody brought their best stuff. Obviously, those first few innings from Castillo were rough, but as you can see right here, yes, the Rays did lead at one point just 6-1, but then in that bottom of the 3rd inning, the Mariners came right back and scored 4 runs of their own to bring it to, was at the time, a 6-5 ball game. And then in the 6th inning, the Mariners scored a 1 run that was off the Tom Murphy solo home run. And then in the 7th, Jose Caballero actually had a hit by pitch RBI that brought in a run. Definitely interesting, and that ended up giving the Mariners the lead. If we go to right here, we could see that was in the top of the 7th. Murph was on base at the time. Teoscar scored, and then Gino was the one who was sent to 3rd on it. And then if we go to just to give a peek into the next series for the Mariners, the next series will feature tomorrow's game will be it is going to be Brian Wu making his 6th Major League career start against Logan Webb. Logan Webb of the Giants this year was obviously came up a few years ago. Was very very hyped. He did pitch really really well in 2021. I remember in the 2021 playoffs when for that Giants team was really good. He looked like he was a future ace, and he backed it up last year. He had a 2.90 ERA last year, 3.03 FIP. So the peripherals back up the ERA. He has been an excellent pitcher this year. Been a little bit more shaky for him. A 3.4 ERA, 3.6 expected ERA, 3.5 FIP, but that 3.07 xFIP. So maybe the peripherals are actually showing that he will probably be a better pitcher. Still below league average, or above league average by ERA minus and FIP minus though. And then obviously by xFIP minus. Yeah, very, very much so by xFIP minus. And also only a 3.23 SIERA, which I explained SIERA in an episode last week. It's a stat that is a skill interactive ERA, and it is a great ERA estimator that I personally like. And then if we go to Brian Wu, the Mariners starter for tomorrow, he also actually has performed excellent by SIERA. He has a sub 3 SIERA, if we go there, right, if we go to his, yeah, 2.98 Sierra, which leads all Mariner starters in Sierra, despite just the 6 starts, I understand it, or 5 starts, I understand it's still a small sample size, but he does lead Mariner starters in Sierra as of right now. That's 7 F4 and only 5 starts, 4.37 ERA, 2.97 FIP, and then the expected ERA 2.46, which is incredible to see, and the 3.08 xFIP. So it's very very obvious that ERA estimators really like Brian Wu. And then if we go to ERA estimators really like him, they like his stuff. And then if we go to his splits, he has okay, why is it like he has performed not great against lefties, but been very good against righties. 5.27 xFIP against lefties, 2.16 xFIP against righties. And then if we go to just the overall, though, he has 59 batters faced righties, 37 batters faced lefties, and then 22 and a third or 2/3 innings total pitched this year. And yeah, that's about those are gonna be tomorrow's starters: Logan Webb, Brian Wu, and then yeah, just a final recap. Also, one thing that was excellent to see was in the pitch velocity, we saw Matt Brash today throwing almost touching triple digits, which is something that he's been doing a lot more recently. As you can see, he was at 99.9, 99.6, 99.6, 99.4, 99.3, 99, 98.9. So Matt Brash sitting top 90s. Brash and Munoz actually, almost touching 100 was awesome to see. We know that those two have the power with their wipeout sliders and touching triple digit fastballs to be just weapons in the back end of the Mariners bullpen, and they were just that today with both of them pitching excellent innings where their stuff was on full display with whiffs and strikeouts and uh, you know, uh, high heat and nearing triple digit fastballs, and you get the picture about those two. But yeah, that today was just a really excellent win today for the Mariners. A very much needed win. Let's see what they can do tomorrow against the Giants ace Logan Webb. The Giants have been a very hot team recently. They are currently in the NL wildcard. They are currently in a wildcard position in the NL. So let's see what they can do against the Giants tomorrow. Winning a series again would be huge, and it will just. I want to believe in this team. I really do. This series helped me partially believe in this team, but they're just gonna have to. They can't be a good team for a series. They're going to have to be a good team for a week or a month before I'll really for weeks or a month before I really start to believe that they're a good team. But 2 series is just the way you start it, and you can only take it by game. So let's hope that they take it game by game tomorrow and win, and take it game by game the game after and win, and so on. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. I very much appreciate it. I hope that the Mariners will win tomorrow, and I hope to be back tomorrow recording another Mariners episode after they have won. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.